Should you do family worship? I've got 5 reasons why you shouldn't do family worship, because it's not for everyone, or I wouldn't recommend that everyone do it. And I'll leave you with one quote from Samuel Davies suggesting that you ought to do family worship. So reason number 1 why you shouldn't do family worship is if you want someone else to be the primary influencer of your child's soul, then you shouldn't do family worship. If you want someone else to be cultivating diligently the inner life of your child, don't do family worship. The second reason why you shouldn't do family worship is if your God is not the God of the Bible, then you shouldn't perform family worship. If your faith is not the Christian faith, I would suggest you not perform family worship. The third reason why you ought not to do family worship is if you think that family worship is going to be the savior of your child, then you shouldn't do family worship. If you think that doing the right things is automatically going to produce a right result, then you shouldn't do family worship. Reason number 4 why you shouldn't do family worship is if you're impatient or want something that's easy and quick and that's going to produce results very, very fast, then you shouldn't do family worship. If you don't, number 5, if you don't want your children doing family worship with their children, then you shouldn't do family worship with them. If you don't want to pass down a Christian heritage, definitely don't do family worship. 2 bonus reasons now on who shouldn't do family worship, or maybe why you shouldn't, is if your life isn't going to be consistent. That is, if you're not going to live the way that you teach them during family worship, then you shouldn't do family worship. If you're going to provide a bad pattern and be inconsistent, you shouldn't do family worship. Excuse me. Lastly, you shouldn't do family worship if you don't want to worship God as a family. So there are 7 quick reasons why you shouldn't do family worship. Here's one quote from Samuel Davies. Who was Samuel Davies? He took over Jonathan Edwards as president of Princeton when Jonathan Edwards died. Jonathan Edwards was the preacher of the famous sermon, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. So here's what Samuel Davies had to say. If you love your children, if you would bring down the blessing of heaven upon your families, if you would have your children make their houses the receptacles of religion when they set up in life for themselves, if you would have religion survive in this place and be conveyed from age to age, if you would deliver your own souls, I beseech, I entreat, I charge you to begin and to continue the worship of God in your families from this day to the close of your lives. Consider family religion not merely as a duty imposed by authority, but as your greatest privilege granted by divine grace. I wish you well.